Hi everyone, this is Peter here, and welcome to my channel. And I'm so excited to take you through this video of part two of how to build AI chatbots using no code. And this is just a continuation of the part one video that I did. And if you haven't seen that video, please make sure that you check it out. I'll just leave the link in the description. But basically, in the first video, I showed you guys how to build a simple, beginner-friendly AI chatbot that has a knowledge base, and you can also add a loop within the chatbot, which will allow the chatbot to continuously just give out information and answers. So in this video, I'm actually going to take it to the next level, and I'm going to show you guys how you can build a very advanced chatbot, which is super, super valuable and super, super efficient, and it's going to really help you a lot. So without further ado, let's jump into it. And so, as you know, I ended off the first video with this portion over here, and I thought it would be essential that before we actually build out, the second chatbot, that we understand some terminology, which will assist us in the long run. So, in order for you to, so this is just the knowledge base over here, and these are just knowledge base settings, the way that you can actually set your chatbot in terms of prompting. And so there's different models that you can use here on Voiceflow, and I'm just using Claude 3 over there. And then let's go through this terminology together. So this is temperature. So it says here, control the randomness of the answer the LLM provides. So basically, when it comes to large language models and when you're dealing with them, temperature just basically means, do you want to have answers that are very accurate and very, for a lack of better words, data driven, or do you want to have answers that are more creative and innovative in that regard? And that's basically what temperature means. So if you're dealing with a lot of calculations, and you're dealing with a lot of factual information or numbers and whatnot, then you would actually set your temperature to be as less as it can possibly be. But now, if you basically are a creative and you're looking at doing more innovative things, and you want to basically leverage the LLM to give you that kind of information, then you would set your temperature to be higher so that it's just more random and more creative in that regard. So it's either, as it says here, it's either deterministic or it's actually random. So that's what temperature means. Now, if you go to tokens, I think I did a video on tokens explaining the essence of tokenization in large language models. And here it says the maximum number of tokens that can be used to generate a single response. So tokens are basically the way in which these models interpret the characters in which we utilize when it comes to using them. So tokens can be converted into characters, and then characters are basically the way in which we use these models, and then also the way that we are built. So if you are using more characters, then you're going to have more tokens, and then more tokens, which are output and input, are basically going to build you more. And that's, in a nutshell, how you can actually look at tokenization and how tokens actually work. If you have a bigger token usage, then you'll be able to get more information. And also, it has to do with the way that you actually prompt your AI model. So that's tokens in a nutshell. So here you can set it to be max tokens and whatnot. So the less tokens that you use, the cheaper it is, and then the more tokens you use, the more expensive it will be, if that makes sense. Cool. And then chunk limit. Chunk limit, we don't have to worry about this because we're using a small knowledge base. But chunking, I don't want to be too technical. But what chunking means, it's essential, especially when you're using big knowledge base documents and whatnot, because it then will basically break down the information into chunks, and then it will classify them into similar categories, if that makes sense. So that's what chunking actually means. Okay, so with chunking, I'm just going to leave it as it is. And then last but not least, we'll go to system. So this is the system prompt, and this is what I set it to be. It says you are an FAQ AI agent. Information will be provided to help answer the user's questions. Always summarize your response to be as brief as possible and be extremely concise. Your responses should be fewer than a couple of sentences. So this is the prompt that I'm giving the chatbot. And if you guys go have a look at the demo video that I did with regards to building a customer service chatbot, you'll see that the responses are exactly like this in terms of the prompt and the way in which the chatbot actually answers the user's queries and whatnot. And this is actually also very important. And I think I should actually do a separate video on this. But mastering prompt engineering is a whole nother field, and it's so essential and as such a valuable skill to have, especially when you are building AI agents. You don't need prompt engineering skills, I would say, to that degree if you are just using AI tools. But if you're building systems and processes and AI agents, you are going to need to master prompt engineering. And just by the way, there's many different ways that you can actually prompt these AI models. There's role prompting, there's context prompting, there's what else? There's format prompting. There's also few shot prompting, and also one shot prompting. There's also something called lost in the middle. There's just so many prompting mechanisms and methods that you can utilize in order to really amplify your processes and your systems in order to make sure that your agents are just super valuable and super productive. So if you guys really want to have more information and you want a more in-depth explanation of mastering prompt engineering, just leave a comment down below and let me know. I am thinking and considering of actually doing a video where I just explain that and how it actually works and why it's important to understand when it comes to building AI automation, solutions. So, anyways, so we're done with the prompt, and it looks good. I'm gonna leave it as is, and we'll just save over there. Not a problem. Great. So now I'm going to go to workflows again, and we're going to start actually building out this advanced chatbot. Okay, so we're going to go to workflows, and then we go to Canvas over here. Great. And this is just the flow that we built from part one. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to shift and drag them and then backspace. Okay, shift and backspace, and we're going to start from zero. All right, so in this flow, I'm going to teach you guys how to build an advanced chatbot. And the first thing that you need to understand is what we call intent classification. Okay, intent classification, don't forget what intent classification is, but this is basically going to be sort of like the ground work, or sort of like the foundation of our chatbot. And what intent classification is, it's just a smart way for the chatbot to detect what the intent of the user or the customer is. So based on what they say within the chatbot or the conversation at the beginning and whatnot, the AI model, the chatbot, let me say the chatbot will be able to detect what is their desired outcome, and then from there it will attach it or link it then to a flow which you have created within a chatbot. So for example, if I say, hi, I'm looking for cars, then the chatbot will detect, oh, this person wants cars. It will go into the car flow. If I say, hey, look, I need repairs for my apartment, then it will say, oh, okay, it will then take you to the repairs flow. So anything that anything that you actually converse the chatbot with, it will be able to detect it in a very smart way. And then from there, it will be able to take it through a specific flow. And then that's how it really just increases customer satisfaction and increases the customer experience of the person chatting with the chatbot. So that's something important that you need to understand, which is called intent classification. And I'm going to show you guys how to actually start with that in this chatbot. So let's start by just dragging that and dropping. And we're going to start with a normal message node. So we go message and we'll just say, welcome. Remember our sample chatbot is in e-commerce, for an e-commerce platform called Trendy Threads. So we'll just say welcome to Trendy Threads. We'll just make space. How can how can I how can I help you? Question mark. Okay, so that's a normal message one. All right. And now we're going to create our intent. Okay, so we see over here, you're gonna have to drag and release. And now it comes with these options. You go listen and then choice. So this is where you start creating your intent. So you say choice. Okay, that's fine. And then over here, you're going to go add. So intent. So it says intent and then you add. So there's different default ones which are pre-installed, but let's just create a new one. So the first intent that I want to show you guys is order tracking. Okay, this is going to be very cool. And I know that you're going to enjoy it a lot. So order tracking. And then you see description. It says trigger this when. Okay, so this is where you insert as many keywords as possible or many phrases as possible in order to make sure that the chatbot um, is able to detect the user's input. Okay, so I would say put as much as information as you can in terms of the keywords as well as the phrases when it comes to order tracking. So what do people usually say? Where is my order? Okay, or let me, sorry, not, don't put it here in description. That's fine. You're gonna have to put it here at utterances. So sorry, you don't put it in description. You put it here in utterances. Okay. So I'm just gonna generate. So generate means that it just generates, it generates all the phrases and the keywords for you. Okay. So I'm gonna just say generate 20 phrases, and it's just going to take it from the name order tracking. Okay, so you see there, can you track my order? I need to check the status of my order. Where's my package? I want to know when my order will arrive. Awesome. So these are the phrases. How can I track my order? These are the phrases that people will say, and then the AI chatbot will detect this and then start this flow. Okay, so it looks good to me. I'm not going to put in more because there's 20 already. Then down here, you'll just say create intent. It requires a description. I'll just say order tracking. It's not a problem. Leave it as that. Create intent. Good. That looks good. Okay. That looks good. All right. Awesome stuff. And then what I want to do is I want to add another one. Okay. Add another intent, and then I'm going to create an intent. And this one, I want it to be looking for products. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys how you can also build that one out. We can take the name and then put that as a description, and then we um, generate. Okay, and it says I'm searching for new products. I'm looking. That's fine. So you see here, here's basically a progress bar, you can say, of how well the system is actually, taking these phrases and whatnot, and maybe how best um, the information has been retrieved. So I usually make sure that I generate as many phrases and keywords as I can, and this must be green. So I'm going to generate more because it means that the more the merrier, right? If I have more, then you see now it's green. So it means that, okay, no, it's good, and it should be fine. So these are the different phases. Great. I'm going to create an intent. Awesome. Looks good. And then I'm going to create the last intent for you guys. Okay, so the last intent will be, let's go here, click that block, and then we're just going to add one more. The last intent is going to be review. Okay, so this is when somebody wants to review the store and their experience. So description review, then we're going to generate 20 sample phrases. That's good. Great, it's green. There we go. Can you please leave a review for our product? There. Okay, it looks good. I'm just gonna add one more so that you guys can see the manual way to do this, but you can just say, I would like to review. You can add again, I like, would like, would like to review your store. Let's just put it like that. Great. And then create intent. Good. So that looks good. So this is what I'm going to take you guys through today. These are the intents that we have. Okay. So order tracking, looking for products, and review. Okay. So let's say somebody wants to track their order. Okay. So it's important to understand how this is going to work. So for somebody to track their order, they're going to need to insert their order number. Okay, so they give you the order number, and then from you actually getting the order number, that order number needs to then be sent to a database, and that order number needs to be it needs to be taken from a database, and wherever the status of that order is, it needs to then be retrieved from that database so that it can show within the chatbot. Okay, and the way to do this is that you need to be able to build what is called a get request. A get request is very simple, and it just means that you are getting information from an external party, for a lack of better words. You're getting information from the outside in. And then I'm going to show you guys later when you do the review. It's basically going from the inside out. So the user will basically give the review, and then we're going to do a post request, which will post that information now to a different application and interface. But for now, to get the order, because remember we're getting it and we want to give it to the person interacting with the chatbot, we need to make use of what is called a get request. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys how you can do that. Okay, so we're here and we've done the intents. So these are the three intents. So what we want to do, okay, is order tracking. And then we drag here again, and then we say talk. Okay, so if it detects that it's order tracking, then it will talk, and then it will say just for simple. I'm gonna make this very simple. Um, we can we can definitely help you with checking your order status. What is your order number? What is your order number? Question mark. Good. Okay, that looks good. What is your order number? And then what we need to do is we go to listen, and then we're going to go to capture. So we drag capture and we put it over there. So we drag, we go here, we go to listen, and then we take capture and we just drag that and we put it down below over there. Great. Okay. And then what we need to do is we go to the right, and it says here capture entities. So we're gonna leave out entities for now. That's a whole different ball game. And entities are usually used for authorization purposes. Like if certain people need to use the chatbot and certain people shouldn't, then it will basically, you can create an entity in order to authorize them to use the chatbot and whatnot. So it's just for access based things, but we're not going to use it in this example. We need to use something else. Okay, so that something else is not going to be entities, but we need to click here and then go to entire user reply. Great. So this can also be saved as a variable within your chatbot. So I just want to just change the name because that's not the name we're going to use, but let's create a variable. So down here, create a variable and just let's name it order. Let's name it low caps order underscore number. Okay, order number. Okay, looks good. Don't have to do anything else. Create the variable. Okay, so the response, this variable will be called order underscore number. That's the variable. Okay, order number. Great. So that's going to be when the person puts in their order number. Okay. Then what you're going to do here, okay, very, very important. You drag here, there. And now we get into the cool stuff because now we're going to make use of API, the API call, which is the GET request. So you go here to dev and then go to API. Cool. And then already it gives you the option of GET. Awesome. So click here, sorry. Click here again. Cool, API GET. But there's also different options here, post, put, delete, patch, but we're going to do GET. Okay, now we're going to need information from our database, and the database that we're going to be using is Airtable. I really like Airtable. It's very cool, and I'm going to show you guys what you need to do in Airtable. So let's jump into Airtable, and we're going to make sure that we get this information there. So you go into Airtable, and what you need to do in Airtable, you need to make sure that you create a workspace and then you just create a base. Okay. And you can make sure that your base looks like this and call it whatever you want, but make sure there's these three columns. Make sure that it's name, that it's status, and it's order number. Okay. And it also needs to be in this format. So name will be a single line text, status will be a single select, drop down, and then here, order number, very important. You got to make sure that this is also in a number format. I've also realized sometimes when playing around with Voiceflow and with this, trying to retrieve also the order number is that it doesn't usually like it when the format is different and whatnot, but it likes this format, which is the number format. Okay. And then you can name this as well as order underscore number. So it'll be the same as your variable that you made in the chatbot. It's just to make it simplified. I don't want to complicate it, but just to make it simplified for you guys. Okay. And then what you can just start to do, you can just populate this the way that you want. So just say Tommy status. You can make your own status, but I just said here shipped, and then order number. Let's make this 123, and then you can just repeat. So here I'll just put in Susan. Status for Susan will be in transit, and then here I'll do 1234, the order number, and then give me one more, guys. I need one more. Let's just do David. Okay, so David, and then David one is pending payment, and then order number. Let's just make this 1234 5. Great. Okay, so that's just the sample of data that we're going to be using. Now, what you need to do, because remember in Voiceflow, it wants a URL link, okay, of this specific record, specific data. So what you're going to do in order to get the URL link is you're going to go to this spot over here, which is help. So you're going to go help, and then you're going to scroll all the way down and you're going to see API documentation. So once you see API documentation, you click on API documentation. And just by the way, guys, I want to make sure that from a security perspective that you sorted. Never, ever, ever never share your API documentation and API information with anyone. Okay, make sure that it's very protected and that you only share it with the people that you're working with that you trust. And in this example, by the time you're watching this, everything's actually going to be deleted. I'm not going to be actually using these API, like this API information and the keys that I'm going to generate. So everything will be deleted. And yeah, you don't have to try to use it yourself because it's going to be deleted, but just make sure that you are protected. Okay, so once you get into the API documentation, what you need to do is you need to get to a place where you go to over here on the left and go to authentication. I think it's, there we go, table one table. Okay. So you click on table one table and then you're going to go to list records. So you click on list records. Great. Now, what you're going to do is that you're going to go to the right over here. And this is some of the information which is part of, these are my records that I put here. Look here, David, Susan, and Tommy. So in order to list these records, okay, what we need to do is, and how to get the URL link, okay, we need to take this guy here from H and do that and copy that. That's the URL link that Voiceflow wants. So we copy that, we go back to Voiceflow, and then we insert it in there. Good. Okay, that looks good. Okay, then we go into headers. So headers, you're gonna click add, and then it asks, it says enter parameter key and enter value. So here we're gonna say authorization with the Z. Okay, so authorization, and then here below you'll just say bearer. Okay, it's the way in which we just go into it's the way in which we just give access to this API call in order for it to be a success. Okay, so we say bearer and then space, and then it's going to want the API token that you generate within Airtable, okay, for authorization purposes. So how do you do that? What you need to do is that you need to go back to your base. Okay, and now instead of going to help, you're gonna go to the top right. Here it says account, and then you're gonna go to builder hub. So I'm just going to, you're not gonna see this information because it's um, very private. Okay, but what you'll do, you go to the top right, and here where it says create new token, this is what you need to do. You gotta create a new token over here. So create a new token, and you can call it a name. So I'll just say Voiceflow, voice Voiceflow, Voiceflow. Oh, am I spelling today? Voiceflow support. Good. And then add scope. So add scope, you can just put the first one, data records, and read. It says see the dates and records. That's what we want. And then access. So what kind of access do you want in terms of the workbases, the workspaces and the bases? So we'll just say all for now. So all current and future bases and all current and future workspaces. Cool. And then we create token. So once you create token, it's only going to show once. So make sure that you copy it and save it in a protected environment or platform or whatever. So we create the token. Cool. I got my token, and then I copy my token. I've copied it myself. Then we go back to Voiceflow, and then we need to make sure that we paste the token over there. So we're going to paste the token. Awesome, which I did, and that looks great. So what we need to do now to test, let's just go down here and say send request. So we're going to send a request to make sure that this is working properly. Should be fine. And yeah, that looks fine. It looks good. So it says here 201. That's okay. It looks good, and I'm more than happy with regards to this. So it's time to now just go into parameters as well as capture response. This is all going to make sense to you guys once it's all put together. Okay, so let's look at parameters. So we're just going to click over there, and it says enter parameter key and enter value. Okay, so here what we're going to do is we're going to insert, we're going to say this, so filter, exactly the way that I'm putting it. So filter uh, by formula. Okay, and I'm going to explain now why we're doing this. And then we're going to say order underscore number is equal to, so curly bracket, and then it's going to be the variable in which we set over here. Okay, where it's the entire reply of the user. Okay, so equals curly bracket, and then it comes out in this format. So the reason why we doing this in terms of parameters is because we are looking specifically for the order number. And what we are saying is that we just want the order number from the database. And so it will take the order number, and then it says equal to this order number. So this here is the variable. And then we're saying that we want to capture this, the order underscore number. So it's taking the actual heading from the database. Okay, and we're saying that the actual heading from the database is what we want to retrieve, which is that's why we set it as the same. We didn't want to complicate it for you guys, but we're saying that this part over here is the heading of the actual database in Airtable, and then we're saying it's equal to the order number, which is in Voiceflow as the variable. I hope that makes sense. And then we're just connecting the two. So whatever the person inputs within the chatbot, it will basically now go to that heading and try to retrieve it from the database. Okay, so that's why we're doing parameters. We only want that. Okay, then we go into capture response. So here at capture response, what we're going to do is we're going to, so it says enter key and then apply to which variable. So I'm going to just put it in and then I'm going to explain what it is. So you're going to put here response dot record, and then that, 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 and then dot fields, and then you're going to say status. Okay, and then apply to variable. So let's create a new variable. I want to create a new variable which is called, let's just call it, um, let's call it shipping underscore status. Okay, and I'm going to explain this to you guys right now, and then we create the variable. Okay, this is important to also understand. So capture response. Okay, this portion here, what it basically means is that when we actually do get it's basically saying when we do are able to now retrieve the order number from the database. Okay, it will basically now, when we actually set a different block, you'll see we will set a different block. Okay, and we'll just say, hi Susan, your shipping status is this. Then this capture response means that we'll be able to then also retrieve this information and put it within that block. So we get the order number, which gets the record, which is fine. But we don't just want the order number. What do we want? We want the status of the order number, and we also want the name of the person. So that's what capture response actually does. It's basically taking the other different variables within the database. You can create those and then you can integrate that into a different block, and you'll see how that works. Okay, then another one that I want to do make is the name. So we'll just copy that and paste it, and then we're going to make sure that we just say name. Okay, and then apply it. We'll create a new variable and we'll say customer underscore name. Good, and we create the variable. Okay, so let's test this. We're going to say send request order number 123, and we generate, and let's see what comes out. There we go, 200, 201. That's awesome. So we can see here it's Tommy shipped order number. It's looking great, looking really, really great. Okay, so this looks good. So now we're just gonna get out here, and you know what, we've set up everything here. It looks pretty good. I don't think there's issues. So now what we need to do is that we need to test to make sure that everything is fine in terms of order tracking. So we'll just go over here and click over here at the start. So welcome to Trendy Threads. And it's also important to make sure, guys, that you constantly check if your agent has been trained. So in order to do that, just click the arrow up here where it says training, and mine has been trained, so 100%. So just make sure that it's trained before you actually test the chatbot. Okay, so it says, welcome to Trendy Threads. How can I help you? So I'll just say, I would like to track my order. Okay, then you'll see that intent classification kicks in, and you can see here that it predicted the intent order tracking. Okay, so now we can see that it takes us through the flow of order tracking. So we definitely can help you with checking your order status. What is your order number? Great. Now we're going to give it a random order number that we created in the database in Airtable. So we'll just say 1234, which is a random order number that we made, and it should now be able to give me the status of the status of that order and the person, as well as what's the status. So check here, it says here, Susan, your shipping status is in transit. And in order to double check that, let's go back to Airtable and see what we did. And it is accurate. As you guys can see, it's Susan over here, and it says Susan is in transit, the status, and then the order number of Susan was 1234, which is 100% accurate. And we can see that the chatbot is working seamlessly. This is amazing, and this is one of the ways you can actually make use of an awesome chatbot in terms of order tracking as an intent. Okay, so let's go into the next one that I want to show you guys. So let's click here, this arrow over here. We're not going to do that. I don't know why. Oh, I think I know what to do. There we go. I just clicked on the side. There we go. Cool. So now let's do products. So looking for products. So I remember us just making sure that the products thing was filled, which is fine. And what we're going to do is we're going to drag here. Cool. And now we're just going to make a carousel. Okay. So let's just make a carousel. And then we're just going to browse images. So I'm just going to make sure that I put in 3 images. So I'll just put in that one that is as a title, that's a bucket, um, hat, I believe. Yes. Cool. And then we can also have buttons. We add a button and we can just say maybe buy now in capitals. Okay, awesome. And what you can do with that button is that you can add actions. So you can actually here are the different actions that you can do. And usually you can also put in like a URL, which will take you to the the payment gateway, the checkout page, which is also cool. But I'm gonna leave that out for now. I just want to give you guys an idea of the carousel that we're building. So we go out there, cool, and then we click on it again. And then what we want to do is that down here we say add cart, cool. So we do the same thing there. So let's browse and then let's go to the second thingy. Let's click that one. I believe this is sunglasses because it is a trendy thread. Okay, no pun intended. So sunglasses, and those are the sunglasses. Okay, there we go. So very cool. And then we can add a button over there, and then we'll just say buy now as well. Again, we can add an action, but we're not going to do it in this example. And then last but not least, we're going to add another card, and let's make sure that it is that one. And then we're just going to make sure this, I know what it is. It is a t-shirt. Okay, it's going to load now for you guys. My network is just a bit slow. And there's the t-shirt. We can add the button by now. You go back, and there we go. We have a carousel, which is bucket hat, sunglasses, and t-shirt. Okay, so let's test this out. So let's click over there. Okay, and then we're gonna click again here, start the test from there, because that is the opening. Okay, don't forget that you need to make sure that your agent is trained. So click on the arrow to make sure it's trained, 100% good. So let's go again. So welcome to Trinity Things. How can I help you? So now this is going to be a real test of our intent classification. Okay, because there's order tracking. Now there's also looking for products, and there's also review. So this time around, I'm looking for I'm looking for your I'll just say looking for your products. Oh, let me not say looking for your products because that's the heading. Let me say I want to purchase your products. Okay, to make this more more tricky and more complicated, and to see if it will identify the intent. And it looks like great. It actually identified the intent, which is great. Awesome. And then it takes us to through the carousel and the products that we have. So bucket hat, you can buy now. We didn't add a URL. We click there, sunglasses, we can buy now. And then there we got the t-shirt, and we can also buy now without the, well, it is an action button, but we just didn't have a link there, but you can set up a link. I showed you guys how to do that. Great. So this is working, and this is looking very good, looking very, very good. And yeah, guys, we're almost there. Okay, almost there. And you can even pause the video now. You can also get a coffee. You can, stretch and whatnot. We just almost there when it comes to building an advanced AI chatbot. But the awesome thing is that you don't have to use code and all of that. Okay. And then the last one that we want to do is review. Okay. So here we're going to drag. Okay. So we're done with this. Okay. Oh, let me just click on the block. Let's see. Yes. That's what I wanted. Okay. So here, review, we're going to drag and drop there. Okay, let me give you guys just a nice view of what's happening there, but I'm gonna go down there. Cool. And then I'm going to for review. Okay, I'm just gonna make it simple and say message. Okay, so once the intent has been identified, we're just gonna say here as trendy threads, what is your review? Okay, just simply put, what is your review? Okay, what is your review? Okay, then we're going to say capture. So listen and then capture. Okay, so we're gonna capture. Boom. All right, and then here we need to set up a variable which is going to be the review variable. So we're not using entities, as I said, we're using the entire user reply. Okay, and what we can do is that we create a variable and let's call it review variable. Okay, so just review, simply put. So create variable, and now it's saved as review. Great. Now this is the review that they give us, and then we can now drag this, okay, and then we just ask again. So we say talk, and then message, and then we can just say um, what is your name? Okay, just for simplicity, what is your name? And then we basically capture that again. Let's do that. So we got what is your name, and then the capture step under that. And then remember, we're not doing an entity, we're doing entire user reply. So here we'll just we'll save it as create variable again. So here we'll just say name. Okay, let's just make sure that it's name, create variable. Cool. And then after that, we'll just create one more thing. So we drag it here and we create another block. And we say message, and we say last thing. Okay, let's cancel that. I don't know what happened there. We'll say last thing. What is your email address? What is your email address? And then question mark. This is gonna make sense to you guys very soon, okay? Because here we're gonna make use of the post request. So last thing, what is your email address? Great. Click outside there. Then one last time we do capture, and we make sure that it goes down there. Good. And then we create a variable entire user reply. And let's make sure that this is an email variable. Okay, and we create the variable. Awesome stuff. Okay, this is great and it looks good. So it's going to be what is your review? And then it's going to, after we give the review, it's what is your name? We give the name. Then after that, last thing, what is your email address? And then it saves the email address. So this is very important because as we're creating these variables, what's going to happen is that we're going to create a webhook in make.com. And make.com is one of the best automation, no-code, low-code platforms that you can actually make use of, which I also make use of. And then what's going to happen is that we do this post request also using make. So make will get this information as variables. And then from make, we can actually do whatever we want with this information. We can save it into a database, a CRM. We can also then use this information to also send an email, which I'll show you guys now, to the actual prospect or the client. And there's just so many things that you can do from an automation point of view when you also make use of make. Okay, so in order for you to do this, you need to then, from here, the last step, you need to do one thing. So you go there, click there, and then you say API. So dev and then API. And then remember, I showed you guys the different ways that you can actually make use of the API. So it's not going to be a GET request, it's going to be a POST request. So POST request, because we're posting something out of Voiceflow, okay? And we're going to post it into a webhook. Okay, so how do we get actually the URL for the webhook? What we need to do is that we need to create it in make.com. So we'll go to make.com and make sure that you also create a scenario. Okay, so create an account is free, and then create a scenario. Then what you're going to do is that you're going to click the add button here, and you'll just go webhook. So type webhook, and then webhooks here, and then you'll just say custom webhook. Okay, so click on custom webhook, awesome. And then you'll just say add. Okay, so add, because this is going to be a new one. And the webhook name, just say Voiceflow support, Voiceflow support. Okay, great. And then we're going to click save. Great. And here's your webhook URL. It's over here. Okay. So what you need to do is that you copy address to clipboard. So you copy address to clipboard. You're going to head back to Voiceflow. So head back to Voiceflow. Good. And what you're going to do is you're going to paste it over there. So there is your webhook URL, and that's the way that you can get it from make.com. Okay, so after you're done putting in your webhook from make.com, what you need to do is that you need to now start forming what is called key value pairs. Okay. And in order for you to do that, you're going to leave headers, leave parameters, and you're just going to go to body. Okay. So where it says body, you click there. Okay, and then it just says form data, enter key, and also value. So these are the key value pairs that you're going to create. So what that basically means is just a structure of data which will show in make.com. And in this instance, it's going to be the variables that we created. So it's going to be the review, it's going to be the name of the person, and it's also going to be the email address of the person. Okay, so those are the key value pairs that we are creating. So the first one is going to be name. Sorry, let's just say review. Okay, so review. Okay, then down here we're just going to say curly brackets. Remember, we created the variable and it's review. Good. Then we do the same here. We'll just say name, and then curly bracket. It's not going to be the customer name, it's going to be the normal name, because customer name was for the order tracking, I believe, the order tracking example. Okay, and then we add again, and then the last one is going to be email. So we can just say email as the header, the heading there, and then the value is going to be curly bracket, and then we're going to say email. Great, and we put it there. Okay, so now in order to test this, because right now we has set the webhook, but the webhook has not, it's still waiting for a specific call to be made so that it can determine the structure and the way it will actually produce the webhooks. So it's just waiting for us to send this information. So we're just going to send a request. Okay, and just as a review, I'm going to just say happy customer, name is Peter, and then email address, I'm going to just say Peter, my email address. Cool. That looks good. Okay, and generate. And let's see what happens. 200. Awesome. I'm getting a status code of 200, which means that that is successful and it looks like it's good to go. So I just want to quickly, out of curiosity, go to make.com, and yes, I want to show you guys this. So it says successfully determined. Okay, so it was waiting for us. Usually you'll see that once you create the webhook, it will just have this almost like a death circle just going around and around and around, because it's waiting for data and information to come in to the webhook. But now it has been successfully determined. Great. Okay, so now what I want to show you guys is how cool this is. So I'm going to just right click here, and I'm going to say run this module only. Okay, the scenario contains errors. First fix the errors and then return to the scenario. So I don't know what the errors are. Okay, so let's do that again. There were no errors, so I don't know. Anyway, let's go back here. Cool stuff. And what we're going to do is we are going to, from the success, once it's successful, we're just going to say message. And we are just going to say thank you for your review. Okay, thank you for your review, smiley face. Great, because we are happy. Hopefully it's a good review. Okay, great. So now let's test this, because now the scenario is running in make.com. Okay, so let's test this. So we're gonna test it, and what we're gonna do is that we're going to need to start from the beginning. Okay, so let's go to the beginning, and the beginning is over here. That's the intro. So we click there to start. And as you know, the scenario is now running and it's waiting for information. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so welcome to Trinity Things. How can I help you? Okay, so now I would like to review your store. Okay, then the intent kicks in. Great, now it's taking us through this flow. So what is your review? I am a happy customer, and kudos to Peter for being a great dude while I was there. That's fine. That's the review. Okay. And then I'm just gonna submit that. Cool. So that's done. It's saved as a variable. What's your name? I'll say my name is, I can't say Peter, but I'll just say my name is Ryan. Okay, let's just say Rye. I missed the N, but it's Rye. And then last thing, what is your email address? I'll just say Rye at gg.com. Okay, I'll just do that and do that, save it. Cool. And then the post request should take place, which was successful. Boom. And then it says, thank you for your review. Now I want to show you guys the magic of what happened now. So we're going to go to make.com, and I want to show you guys that this information has been passed into make.com, and here it is. You see, as a bundle, it says review. I'm a happy customer, and kudos to Peter for being a great dude while I was there. The name is Rye, and then also the email is rye@gg.com. Okay, so that's really, really incredible. That is amazing. And obviously what you can do from here, I'm not going to get into it in this video, but I actually think I showed it in my demo where I actually reviewed, and then after reviewing, I was able to then get an email address after I just reviewed. So you're able to then send an email address to, internal people and yourself, and then you can also send an email to the person that actually reviewed your store in that regard. So as I said, on make.com, there's so many things that you can do in order to make use of this. If you also want to check how you can also send emails on make.com, you can also check out my video that I did in terms of building an AI email writer. So I think that's a good way to actually check how to make use of emails in make.com. So that's basically that. That is amazing. And the information came about, everything came about successfully. And guys, that's just about it when it comes to building an amazing chatbot, an advanced chatbot that has intent classification, and with intent classification has three things, which is order tracking, which is looking for products, and product recommendations, as well as also reviews, and just also making sure that you understand get requests, APIs, and also post requests, and you'll just have an amazing chatbot. Also with the knowledge base, there's just so much that you can do, and it's very, very valuable. So guys, thank you so much for just watching this entire video. If you you watched this entire video, congrats to you, kudos to you. I'm so proud of you, and I know that you just gained such a valuable skill in building AI no-code chatbots. So if you really like this one, please make sure that you just share, that you like, you subscribe to my channel. There's just more valuable AI automation videos that I want to do for you guys. And yeah, please feel free to also reach out to me if you want to on my email, as well as on Instagram and on socials. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.